Software is my absolute favorite. Hardware, yeah, she's cool, new cameras, new buttons, whatever may be, but software, that is where the real magic happens. And so when WWDC happens every year, it is always one of my favorite Apple events, as in this house we call it. It is Apple Christmas, and it is the most exciting Apple Christmas for yours truly because I love software so much. And the Worldwide Developers Conference focuses on software. In the WWDC keynote, which happens the first week of WWDC, they talk about software coming to the developers to kind of get them excited about things to work on, and they tell all of us people what's coming in the future, what's coming in the fall, what to get freaking excited for. So today I'm going to be chatting about iOS 15. I am also going to be uploading a video about all the other stuff that happened at WWDC, because there's iPadOS 15, watchOS 8, macOS Monterey, and then we've got some other updates there. But the most things that I'm excited about are in iOS 15, so we had to do a dedicated video. So this video is just going to be me recapping all of my favorite announcements that have come from iOS 15. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and keep on watching. Hi y'all, it's Annelies, and we've got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive in. I looked at my notes and immediately I saw all the FaceTime updates, because folks, pretty much Apple saw that they're really good video chat software. I really like FaceTime. I'm a FaceTime stan. I like FaceTiming people. But over the last year, the need for FaceTime or the need for video chat has gone past just the point of I want to talk face to face with one person, and that's why FaceTime was like made, was like, hey, you want to chat with a family friend? It's like Skype. We're just chatting. You're not doing work things or like mass scale video conferencing. And then obviously with our friend Miss Zoom over the last year being very popular, Apple took quite a bit of notes. So we've got FaceTime links. Sounds familiar. You can schedule a FaceTime meeting and send out a FaceTime link. And the really cool thing about the FaceTime links is it works for people that don't have iPhones or Apple devices. You can send a FaceTime link to an Android or a PC user, and they can open it within their web browser on their device, which is really cool, especially for when you have like that one green bubble in your iMessage chat and y'all want to do a FaceTime meeting. Boom. That's a really cool and exciting thing. Additionally, with the whole like taking from the video conferencing features, we've got things like grid view, which about time, honestly. I really like FaceTime, and when they added group FaceTime, I liked that as well, but I always felt like there's a lot of wasted space, especially with like how the tiles kind of move, but then they're like stacked over each other, and I'm like, if I could just put this in a grid, I feel like we'd see each other a lot clearer. It would be a better experience. So glad that they finally updated that. They also added that portrait mode thing that I've been seeing on Zoom lately, where you can like blur your background, which I don't use it, but like it's kind of nice to have, so I'm into it. And then, oh my gosh, the thing I am the most excited about is screen sharing. And then I don't know if they're considering it under the SharePlay umbrella, but they came out with this thing that they're calling SharePlay, which is kind of like the group watch thing that happens on like Hulu and Disney Plus, and I think there's like a Netflix extension for it to where you can watch your favorite shows, but like also chatting with people. But this adds in a video element. The thing that they really hyped on was the fact that there's no like latency or lag, like y'all are always on the same page, which I watch a show through Hulu with a friend, and that's something that we kind of get an issue with, is like we do the group watch thing, it says it's in sync, but it is not. It's rarely in sync, and then I just kind of like pause myself until I hear his audio and I'm like, okay, we're good. So I'm excited to see how FaceTime SharePlay works, but the screen sharing, that is the thing. That is the thing I'm so jazzed about. You can also do it on your freaking phone and your iPad. So you can do screen sharing on the computer, the iPad, the phone. This is going to make giving people tech support so much easier. Oh my gosh, as a person who frequently does that, I'm just a little stoked. Just a teeny bit. I'm very stoked. With SharePlay, you can do the screen sharing, you can share music and like stream that to a group, you can do the video thingamajig. I'm too excited. I'm clearly losing my words. Let's move on to the next point, but I'm very excited about all the updates coming to FaceTime, and I think you should be too. But moving on into like the communication realm, we have iMessage updates. One of the things that I wasn't excited about watching the keynote, but then when I went back to the Apple website to kind of like get all my notes together for this video, is what I saw was the stacks of photos. I believe they're calling them collages. So if you send like 7 photos to a friend through iMessage, typically it makes them each a separate thing. You gotta scroll forever to get to the top or the bottom or whatever. But now they're gonna come in as like a little stack. So you could swipe through them right there, but they also don't take up like 4 pages of feed within your iMessage. So I'm actually kind of stoked about that. I'm interested to see how the mechanics of the swiping are gonna be, but I think that's really cool. When it comes to iOS 15, we've also got an update with notifications. There's gonna be like a notification summary thing, which like, yeah, whatever, what I like is that they seem to be more condensed as well as clearer. We've got things like icons that are going to be bigger within the notification. So if it's a Pinterest thing, you're going to see the Pinterest icon large and in charge. And then you're also going to have photos from your contacts for, I don't know if it's just messages actually. The example they used was messages, but I wonder if it works with missed phone calls and voicemails as well. Now, of course, when you've got notifications coming in, I don't know if y'all use this, but I use Do Not Disturb frequently. I use it when I'm filming so that way I can shut all notifications off, but I also use it for like bedtime, maybe when I'm working, whatever. And what we've got coming with iOS 15 is one of my favorite features of this whole announcement, and that is focus. So there's different modes that they're calling like focus modes, I guess, where you can essentially set a custom Do Not Disturb for a certain time or state of mind, if you will, whatever you may need. You can set custom Do Not Disturb settings to where only certain notifications come in from certain people or certain apps. You can also set custom focus home pages. So let's say you're doing work. You can create a custom home screen of just all of your work apps and whatever you need front and center. And then you can also make sure that only messages will come through that are from like people that you work with, maybe apps that you use for work, and everything else gets Do Not Disturbed. And then you can also do like, okay, I'm doing creative stuff right now, so I want to make sure that only like the important people like mom, significant other, like roommates come through just in case of an emergency, but I can use all my creative apps, and then it silences the other things. Or you have personal time where it silences your work apps. Like, this is something that I think is really cool. I can see myself creating a whole bunch of different like focus profiles. So you have like one for work, you have one for personal, I have one for like when I'm doing my YouTube videos, and then the other thing, which I'm interested to see how this shows up and if you can make this for certain people, but you can set a like away message for iMessage. So if I have my like focus turned on and I want to set my like not in the office type of message, it will say Annelies is on Do Not Disturb using focus, so if somebody messages me, they get notified that it's not going to come through, which I think is cool. But I'm also interested to see, like, does that happen for everybody? Does that happen for Android users? I'm interested to see how that works, but I think the focus modes are super cool, and I want to see how it makes like all your apps disappear. Can you have everything set up differently? It's like different profiles on your phone almost. See, now the gears are turning. Now they're turning, Apple. You got me thinking. Okay, so we've got a few more things left in iOS 15 that I'm pretty excited about. One of them being live text, which is where you can read text in a picture and you can actually copy and paste it into like a message or a note. And you can also search through your phone by the text that's in an image that you've taken. So let's say you take a picture of a restaurant or whatever, and it has the phone number on the front of it. That's like the example they used in the keynote. You can copy the phone number that's there, like from the picture, and then like click on it. You can also search on your phone. So if you're like, oh, I remember when I was at this place that had the sign that said live, laugh, love. I don't know. I can't think of any other example. You can search in your phone and then it'll pull up images with those words in them. I think that's really cool. It's also very akin to the Google app. It's like literally just the Google app where you can use that camera, take pictures of things, and also like look up what they are. It's like a visual search. Do they have any special word for it? Visual lookup. If you use visual lookup on the iPhone, it seems to be that it has to be a photo you have taken that's within your photos library, and then you can search like based on what breed of dog this is, or what's that shirt in this picture, or what does this say. So that's the only thing I don't like. I wish there was a more of like temporary way to do it, because at least with the Google search version, you don't have to save the picture. But it's kind of cool if you've taken a picture and you want to go back and look on it, and you don't have to do any sort of like opening into another app to search what you've already seen. So there's its pros and cons, but I think it's really cool. I do like that visual lookup feature within the Google app, so I'm very interested to see how Apple does it. And then for the last of like the iOS 15 specific things, we've got some updates with the Wallet app. The first one that I think is pretty freaking insane is that you are going to be able to add your government ID. Now this seems to be like it's only in the United States for like your driver's license. I don't think anything has been said about passports, but you can put your state ID or driver's license within the Wallet app and then use that to like check in at airport security. Now they have made it clear that so far like restaurants aren't accepting that and they haven't worked with them yet, but it seems like their first mission is to go to like the TSA side of things, because you know they check your boarding pass, they scan your ID, and how much easier would it be if you had less things on you? It was just your phone. You had your boarding pass on your phone, your credit card to go get a drink of water or coffee or whatever before you board the plane, and then your ID right there. The other thing that looks really cool about it is that it doesn't show the ID. So that would then imply verify that whatever place is verifying your ID would have to have an NFC reader. So it's not just the same as having like a photo of your driver's license on your phone. It's an authentic, verified digital form of your ID. The information gets passed through. Same type of way that Apple Pay works, as like you're not actually ever sharing your credit card number. So I would be really interested to see like how the TSA person receives that information. If I scan my ID at TSA, do they then get an image of my ID, or do they just get like, yep, this is a California resident, verified ID, her name, address, da-da-da-da, whatever. I'm very interested to see how it's going to work, but I think it is really cool that we are getting to that place, and that is like the future to me. That is so futuristic to say you can put your freaking ID on your phone. Like, that, I think that's really cool. They also alluded at some point somewhere that you'll soon be able to have vaccination cards also in the wallet app. You always have your phone on you in this day and age. At least I do. I always have my phone on me. I might not always have my wallet on me, or my ID, or my vaccination record. I don't know. I think it's really cool. It's very futuristic, and I'm very into it. I'm very excited about it. Oh my gosh, wait a second. I said that was the last thing. There's one more. How dare I forget the Notes app? My one true love. Y'all, I think I've mentioned this in my favorite apps video, but I love the Apple Notes app. I've used other Notes apps before. There's just something about the Apple Notes app that hits different, and now we've got some cool updates coming to it. One, which I can conceptualize why it's cool, but the presentation of it in the keynote, I think there's just something that's going over my head that maybe I'll understand more when it's in front of me, as well as, I don't know, it's Quick Note. They have this thing called Quick Note where somehow, I still don't get it, which not a good sign, but I still don't get it, but somehow you can do something to where a note comes up out of nowhere, and then you just push it out of the way, and it's great. Fine, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really excited about it, but I felt like I had to note it in this video. Come for the tech reviews, stay for the subpar comedy. That's not even comedy, but I feel like I had to say something about it if I'm talking about the Notes thing. But the thing I'm actually excited about is hashtags and mentions within Notes. I use my own hashtag system, is the wrong way to put it, but I use my own like system for searching things within my Notes, and it's very convoluted to make sure it works within the app. But to know that now I can put hashtags in there, and I use my Notes app for like everything, but primarily for all my YouTube stuff. So I can put hashtag, video ideas, outlines, like tech versus whatever. Like I can see all the subcategories that I can make within the Notes app using hashtags. I don't collaborate really ever on the Notes app, but I think it's cool to have mentions in case if that's something I do in the future. But the hashtags is something I'm very excited about. Okay, so that was actually everything now. iOS 15, we covered everything. There's a lot of things that got announced at the keynote that also integrate with iOS 15, but they're not specifically like iOS 15 updates. Like we got some iCloud updates, we've got some health app updates, and some things that kind of span across all the devices. So if you want to hear me talk about that, I've got another video coming out where I'm talking about iPadOS 15, watchOS 8, macOS Monterey, and then all those other little general updates. So if you want to hear more about what happened at WWDC 2021, make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, so that way when that video comes out, you'll be the first to be notified. But I'll also leave it as the top link in the video description here. I'll update the comment section, but like if you subscribe, you just get notified without having to come back to this video. Makes your life easier. I guarantee you're gonna like it here. I talk about tech things, I review stuff, I do tutorials, I just talk about why I love tech and get excited with you about tech. But also I talk about little lifestyle things too. I'm moving to London soon to pursue my MFA in acting, so I'm gonna be posting content about that. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, like I said, subscribe. And before I go, thank you so much to all of my Patreon supporters. The people on screen right now are some of my top tier patrons. So if you want to be a part of this lovely group of people, go to patreon.com/Annelies, where you can join my Patreon community. I post updates there all the time about my life and about the channel. I post a lot of polls, and I'm constantly asking for your input. So if you're a part of the Patreon community, you really have a thumbprint on this channel. So if you want to help support me monetarily and helping out this channel, making cool videos, go ahead and check out my Patreon. Thank you so much again to all of my lovely Patreon supporters. Otherwise, that is it for me. Stay beautiful, have a marvelous day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!